Hey, come on in. I'm Jared Garner with Golfers MD here in Fairfield, Connecticut, and I'm going to talk to you today about fitting juniors and how important it is to get your children in the right length, the right flex, the right weight, and the right grip. It was just as important 50 years ago as it is today, and in fact, I brought out this little goodie. It's a juvenile club, a junior club from about 50 years ago. The company that made this club was a company called Burke in Ohio, and you can see the size of the club. You can see it's got this great old leather grip on it. It's a hickory shaft and a smaller club head, which weighs less than an adult club head, specifically designed for juniors. And it's great because this encouraged junior kids to get out on the golf course and learn to love the game that we all are so passionate about. So I want to talk to you about fitting juniors, and I want to show you a couple more props that I brought along. I've got two shafts here. I want to show you the difference in the shafts. This is they're both UST products. This is a Harman design, and this is a men's regular flex shaft, and this is a junior shaft. And you can see from the size of the shafts, both the diameter of the shaft, the length of the shaft, that they're completely different. This is designed for the lighter club head weights. It flexes much more, and it's shorter, so you're not cutting down a ton of the material, which makes the shaft stiffer. Those are for irons, and then also for woods. We've got the Pro Force V2. You've seen players like Adam Scott use this shaft, and then we have the modified version of that for juniors, also the Pro Force V2. So your kids can get out there, they can play somewhat the same look as the guys on television and still have a great time being able to move this shaft around. I want to talk to you about length first, because I think length is the most important aspect of fitting a junior golfer, and I have tons of junior golfers that come into my golf shop, and I think the main question for most parents is how long are these clubs going to last my child? I'm going to tell you that I think it's okay to go a little bit longer with the club. I'd like to see the junior golfers get more than one season out of the club. So I think the right length for a junior golfer is to make that about an inch over, no more than an inch over. If you make it longer than an inch, and the child has to choke down further than an inch, I think they start to change their swings a little bit. But going down an inch on the club or half an inch on the club, I think is okay to get the kid another season out of the club. If they hit a growth spurt, and they're not constantly changing the clubs and having to spend a ton more money. So I do that with a fitting ruler. That's the first thing I use, and also the weight of the child. That's important also because, as we know, some kids are a little bit larger, a little bit smaller. So we really need to take the weight into consideration also, and the fitting ruler is used so we can get a static measurement of what the club looks like in the junior's hand from a wrist to floor measurement. The second thing I want to talk about is the flex of the shaft. In the old days, what people would do, when I first started my golf shop, I would have people who would come in and say, "Can you cut this old set of my clubs down for my son or my daughter?" And we know that that's not the right thing to do. I'll use the example of the iron shaft again. Once again, if we cut 4 or 5 inches off this club to make it go down there, it's certainly going to play a lot stiffer. So that's not really the answer either. I think what you need to do with shaft flex is you need to get your child in a lightweight graphite or a lightweight steel that's designed for their age, that's age appropriate. And you start from there, because the main thing we want to do here is we want to make sure that they have a great time on the golf course, and we want to encourage them so they can take up this lifelong sport. The next thing I want to talk about is the weight of the iron heads. I think it's okay. I built a set of clubs for a 14-year-old. Now 14, I'm going to say this gentleman, young junior golfer that I built this set for, he plays a lot of golf. He plays competitive golf, and so using a standard head size is okay for this age group, especially if he's playing a lot of golf and tournament golf like this child. But it wouldn't be appropriate for a kid who's, let's say, 11 and under to use that size head. I would specifically go to a junior size club head, and there's lots of companies out there that are making junior specific clubs. We've got UST, we've got US Kids Golf, we've got Ping, we've got Callaway. Most of the major brands all make junior sets that are age appropriate. The last thing I want to talk about is the grip, the grip size. I think it's very important to get your child in the right grip size. We've got specifically junior grips that are much smaller, made for kid-size hands. We've got, if your son or your daughter has a larger hand, we can go to a lady-size grip. That seems to work pretty well also. And then if you've got a teenager who's a little bit older, let's say 14, 15 years old with larger hands, you can certainly go to a men's grip. But the most important thing, once again, is I like to have the child grip the club, and then if they're a right-handed golfer, they would take their right hand off. And I like to see that the fingers here just are touching the palm. I don't like to see a big gap there, because then I know the grip is too large for them, and it's harder for the kids to release. We're gonna do some in-depth episodes on fitting junior golfers, specifically length, flex, weight, and grip, and we're going to give you lots of demonstrations. But for now, we just wanted to give you a quick overview. So thanks again for coming, and remember to encourage your kids to get on the golf course. And Golfers MD is always there to help you. And remember, it's better golf, better health. Thanks. We'll see you.